So today we're just going to do a brief overview of creating a brand board in Canva. You've probably heard us talk about Canva before. Darcy did a few videos a couple months ago on Canva and how to use it. It is one of our favorite tools. Some designers might tell you that Canva isn't a real designer's tool, but I think that's a bunch of bull hockey. Of course, I still love Photoshop and all the other traditional web design and graphic design tools. But Canva has become such a great resource for team sharing, for easily creating social media posts, print designs, so much. You can do so much with Canva. It's so user-friendly. So I tend to use both Photoshop and Canva and other tools in conjunction. But we now do all of our brand boards for our branding clients and our website clients in Canva. So we have this template that you can see up on my screen here that we've created. And we do all of our brand boards this way. So you might be wondering, branding, what you need branding for, what is branding? A lot of you already have your branding, of course, but just really briefly, branding is so important to your company. It is your brand. Your brand is part of your voice. It is your look. It's your feel. It's what people see and think of when they think of your business. So it encompasses, colors, fonts, images, logo, icons, everything that somebody experiences when they come to your business. So if you go to The Gap or Old Navy or Target, they all have their branding, their main colors, the fonts that they use, the feel, the look, the attitude that they give, what you think of when you think of their brand. So when we create brands for clients, we are working with them, what do you feel? What is the top 3 words that you would pick to describe your business? Is it earthy and calm and simple and clean? Is it vibrant and bold and colorful and exciting? Is it maybe you're in geriatric care and you want gentle and loving and compassionate? Maybe you work with mamas and their babies, so you want something colorful and fun and maybe a little bit cute and playful. Maybe you are in med spa, and so it needs to be soothing and beautiful and relaxing and a little bit luxurious. So all of these things, when you think of these words, you look for your colors, you look for your logo, you look for your fonts. Fonts can be super important. They need to be readable. And usually clean and simple for your body fonts and your website and in your brochures and all your other print media, but maybe something a little bit more fancy for your titles, but still readable. So it's very important to pick all these things just right. So today we're going to look at brand boards. I'm going to use my template here. It will create a copy for me in Canva. If you're not familiar with Canva at all yet, it is free. You can certainly upgrade to Pro, which means you get a lot more images and a lot more elements and photos and everything that you can use in here, and the fonts, but it is free to start with, and it's very powerful, even free. So I highly suggest it, canva.com. Sign up for a free account, check it out. When you create any kind of anything, print or social media post or whatever you're creating, business card, you can create copies of this. And if you share them with others, you always want to make sure that you either create it as a template or that the other person understands they need to make a copy of it to save into their own library. Otherwise, they could accidentally copy over what you've done and edit your original file. So our brand board here looks kind of boring and blank at first. You see these gray dots here and all this gray and this blank. We put your 6 colors up here, and then we also put those same colors down here. This is all for images, and the images are not necessarily actual images that you're going to use in your brand on your website or in your print products, your collateral, but they're more of a mood. So sometimes they may be images that you actually use on your media, but more often than not, they're kind of the mood of your brand. So for example, if you're med spa, you might have a lot of floral images and images of beauty products or maybe essential oils or spa treatments or beautiful, lovely people enjoying massages. And then above here we have the fonts. We typically pick 2, maybe 3. And it's a little small to see here, but if you zoom in, your logo goes at the top. Oftentimes you may have a variation on the logo, so any of those would go here. Submarks are sort of a variation of the logo, but it might be like part of the logo, or perhaps it might even be the favicon that you use that you see up in the top on tabs. This little C with the circle is Canva's little favicon. That might be part of your logo. It can be a lot of variety of things. Submarks gets a little bit more complicated and we don't deal with them a whole lot. These numbers up here, these are called the hex codes or the hex numbers for colors. Every color on the web has its own hex number. And using that number anywhere will get you the exact same color no matter what screen you're looking at or what printer you're working with, where you take it. The color will always be identical, so you know you can get the exact color of your brand. And then down here we've got iconography. So if you have a website, you might have all these great little icons that go with each of your services or along each point of your values, your beliefs, your goals, your biography, whatever. You might have all these icons, and you may use those in brochures or other print media or on your social media channels. Patterns are just what they sound like, patterns. This is a pretty general example of a brand board. If you look on Google, you'll see all sorts of different brand boards out there, many different layouts, many different options, but they all generally include these basic elements. Alrighty, so let's actually create a brand board. I'm just going to put up here a logo, just a text logo to start with. So if you are familiar with Canva at all, you'll know its menu over here, but if not, I'll go through a few of the basics. You have templates that you can start with. So you can tell Canva that you want to make a logo, let's say, and you'll get, not in those templates apparently. Maybe you want to do something on a spa. Here they give you 4 templates right away to get started with. Now, depending on where you started with in the Canva homepage, let me get out of here and show you. You can create all sorts of different things, and Canva gives you those formats right away if you want to start with that. So if you want to start with a logo or a letter, an Instagram post, there's a lot here. Posters, you can customize your sizes as well. So whatever you start with, that's the palette that you will get in Canva. For this project, I created a custom size in the size of brand board that we wanted. So that's what templates are. They'll give you more template options based on what you've already picked. Uploads are things that you upload yourself. So images or icons or anything like that. Photos are just what they say, photos. Elements are usually cute little icons, shapes, images, typically anything, a graphic element. And text is, of course, text. And styles are pre-made things. You can see a lot of them here that we've had for various clients and for ourselves. Canva has some pre-made ones. Canva has a really cool thing where they have designer approved color combinations. So if you're struggling to pick colors for your brand, that might be a really nice thing to use with Canva. Okay, so let's go and add text here just to have our logo. You can see here it's pretty small and it's down where I don't want it, so I'm going to move it up here. It's just a drag and drop. You can see that Canva gives you guides. Now I know it's exactly centered. Up here at the top, I'm going to change how big this is. Too big. Hit 100. So logo could go up here. We're not going to do anything fancy with that because today I'm focusing on colors and images. All right, let's get to colors. The way that we've designed our template here is just gray circles. I used an element over here. Shapes, I literally just used this circle, got it to the size I wanted, and copied it 6 times. To copy an element, you simply highlight on it. And then up here in the bar, you'll see these 2 little pages with the plus. You can duplicate that element as many times as you want. Of course, I don't want all those circles there, so I will just delete that, but that's how I created them originally. These hex numbers are all just text bits, and I will change the numbers to the correct hex number after I pick the color. Pick your element that you want to change the color for, and you go up here to the little box. You can see it's this gray color. Of course, all of our templates that we've used for various clients are showing up here, but I want to say that I'm going to do a med spa because, of course, I love doing med spa brand boards and websites. So I want some soothing, rich type colors. So maybe I want to do some purples. I'm just going to type purple and see what Canva gives me. So this is apparently what Canva considers as true straight-on purple. And you can see it assigns it a hex number there. And then they give all these designer-approved color mixes. So I kind of like a little bit darker purple, perhaps. So I'm going to go with this one, which is a super dark purple. And if I think that's too dark, I click out and I click back on the color swatch. I can edit the color right here where it says new color. I want my purple to be a little bit more red, and I want it to be a little lighter. I think we're going to go with that. So now here's the cool part. If I click out, click back in, I roll over it to find my hex number. So you can see that it's 5B3260. 5B3260. This will now give me all sorts of designer approved color palettes that will help guide me in the colors that I want to use. So I'm liking these, a little bit of neutrals to go along with it. This is a little too pink for the taste of what I'm looking at right now. I'm not loving any of the others a lot, so I think I'll go with this palette just to kind of get started. I would like to make this color here in this creamish color. I think I might like to do this in my same purple, but maybe a little lighter. So again, click out, click back in, click new color, lighten that up a bit. Somewhere around there, I think. Now I am kind of liking these rosy colors here, so maybe I could do this color, but I don't want it quite so red. And I want it a little darker, perhaps. And now from there, I want something that's pinkish, maybe to go along with it. To purple. So as you can see, this can sometimes take a while. And I don't promise that this will be the best brand board ever because it's fairly quick. I don't want to spend an hour on it with y'all. And for this, I think I'll choose an even paler purple. All right, let's say those are our colors. Very girly, very feminine. If I shrink out just a little bit, this here is a grid. Frames, if you add a frame to your Canva project, you'll just simply get a shape. The cool thing about the frame is if you choose a photo, you can simply drag and drop it and it will automatically fill the frame, which is really useful. Grids are simply a bunch of frames put together and they're already all pre-sized, perfectly lined up, so you don't have to try to get everything equally lined and equally spaced out. So for the perfectionists among you, like myself, it works really great. So for this particular template, I've done one grid here. You can see the 4 different image slots in this grid. I've done a second grid down here. I did have to line that up a little bit. This is also a grid, and I've simply filled it in gray to give the idea that it's intended for colors and not for photos. And then this by itself is just a frame, so that I could get the circle in the middle of the grid. Grids are really cool. One of the best things I think you can use. They're found under Elements. So instead of a shape or a frame, if you scroll down a bit, you'll see grids, and you can click See All to get all the different grid layouts. I could think of a few more that I'd like, but as you can see, there's a lot of variety, a lot of options. The farther down you go, the more images you get. So if you just want a grid that only has 2 or 3 image options, if you look at the top, you'll see just those image options. So all I did was I selected one. It will fill up the whole frame of your project, but all you have to do is resize it, and you can resize it exactly the way you want, which is a great advantage because sometimes if you use just a regular frame, let's say I wanted a square frame, you can see I don't really have any options to resize it. It stays the same proportions. I can shrink it and make it larger, but I can't change its proportions. So instead, if I use a grid, go back to the main elements page, go back to the grids page, they do have just one simple square. You might think, well, why would I not just use a frame? But it's because you can perfectly resize this exactly the way that you wish. All right, so those are my grids. So now what I want to do is change these colors. So I just click in here. It highlights the whole grid, but it extra highlights just the one I want. And it will have saved my document colors, which makes it so super easy. So up here, document colors, all the colors that I'm using in this document. Of course, you see the black and the white and the gray that were in the background, but then also all the colors that I just chose. So if we scroll up, we can kind of see what we're doing. This is available as an app as well on your tablet or phone. Some features are a little bit more difficult to use on the app, but there's actually a few that might be easier, so you can certainly play with this on your phone or tablet too on the go. There's my colors. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on each one of these today, but typically I would go here, find what color this is, 5B3260. Click in here and just type 523B60. So if you've received a brand board from us, you will see these. These are your colors. These are the hex numbers of your colors. So if you go to get your print product, your brochure, or your business card from us printed, these are the exact colors. You can tell the printer. If you hire a designer to do another project for you, you can give them these colors from your brand board. Whether we created it for you, or you create it yourself, or somebody else created it, they should always give you your hex colors so that you can use those same exact colors in any project you use, no matter who's designing it for you. All right, so I'm not going to do them all right now because we'd be here for 5 hours. Okay, so now the really fun part, in my opinion, is images. So I'm going to go over here to photos. Now, we obviously do have a pro subscription, so we have a lot more photo options to us. You can, with a free subscription, purchase individual photos. I believe they're about $1 each usually. If you're going to be using this a lot, I would highly recommend getting a pro subscription if you can. All right, so I'm just scrolling, and these are just like the default photos to start with, excuse me. This picture right here is lavender fields, and so that goes with our purple. Not particularly fond necessarily of the blue gingham dress that she has on though, so I'm just going to delete that picture. And I'm going to search for spa. All these lovely pictures that just make me want to go to the spa. I just need the money. All right, so we have a little bit of a pinkish color. This pink may or may not go with it, so I'm going to drag it over here. It's a little too pink. So I keep scrolling to look for what I am interested in using. And right off the top, I'm not seeing a whole lot that goes with my chosen colors because, of course, why would it be so simple? Here's a nice one that's very spa-like. I'm going to drag it over to my board. I want it to go in this slot right here, but it's going to center it and I'm not going to get much of the image at all. So I'm just going to resize the image. It makes it super easy in Canva to crop. Drop it in here. Now I see most of the image. No, it's not an exact match to that pink, but it's definitely the spa feel and it's a shade of that pink, so I think that'll work. I have another one here that has some of the yellow, the yellowish cream that I've picked there. Here's a really good one, I think. Gives some of our purples, that's almost an exact match with the pink. That's great. Perhaps something like that. Perhaps something like that. Or perhaps this would be a better one with some purple in it there. Now, I like to find a rather standout picture for the middle, so I could do something like purple flower. These purples here, I could put them right in the middle like that if I'd like, or maybe I would like that down here. I tend to like to use this bottom one as something of a pattern almost, or a background type image, especially for our websites that we might like to use behind a quote or behind your services or something to that effect. So let's keep looking for a different flower. I'm looking for something dark purple. And none of that seems quite right to me, so I'm going to add the dark. This is how you can utilize the search function up here. I think it's really helpful. And I'm not finding a whole lot that really speaks to me for that image. So let's try light purple flower. A little too much yellow in the center there. Something like that could work. I could also do light purple spa and hopefully get some lovely images that are both spa-like and the purples that I want. This is just how easy it is to drag and drop. This is why I highly recommend this program. I think it's so beautiful. Oh, here's a really good purple one. And you can see just by dragging it over, it changes the whole feel of the brand board. So to me, the placement is also important. Now I don't really want to get rid of this yellow color, so I'm going to detach this image. So if you right click on it and sorry, that's in the way, click detach, the picture will go right back up there so that you can use it and not try to find it again. I'm going to bring back these lovely purples that go right along with the colors I want. And I'm going to try this in the center. And I kind of like that, but I'd like it to stand out more. So I'm going to try this, detach that, use this darker purple image in the center. I'm going to undo that. I'm going to crop this a little bit so that I get more of the color I want in the center. There we go. Now let's try this. Now you can see that it crops off a lot of that image behind the circle. So if you click on the image and go up here to flip, you can flip it vertically or horizontally. And now I see more of that image. So this is not maybe a finished brand board that I would present to a client, but it's getting there. It gives the overall look. It's lovely. You can see all of the colors in there. This crazy fun image here may not be a specific thing, but it'd be a great background image. So again, we use these images more as a mood rather than the actual images you might use in your website. All right, so that was a super brief, even though it took 20 minutes or so. It's a brief overlook at how we create our brand boards in Canva. I didn't touch a whole lot on the font. I may do that next time. To change your fonts, you would simply click on the text that's already there, and you click up here to change your font. And you can try typing different things like script, if you want a script font there, and it will give you the available script fonts. Of course, this is not every font in the world. You can upload your own fonts to Canva. Just make sure that they are free for commercial use or that you've purchased a license for the font if you want to use it for commercial purposes. And then it will appear in this list as well. And I'm sorry, you can see I've got some images coming in there. So this is finding a font, and if you just pick one, it will change the font right there. Now, of course, you'd want to change the name to whatever you just picked. And of course, that's messy. I'm not going to fix it right now. And the same thing with the sample of the font, all the letters down here, the alphabet letters. If you click the back, you'll see your most recent used fonts at the top. So I'm going to pick that. Obviously, that would need some formatting. It's quite a mess, and it's pretty hard to read. So I probably would not use this font in branding, but depending on your needs, it might work out really well. So that's just a really quick how to pick that font. I may do a video down the road on choosing fonts. For us, we tend to stick with Google Fonts, which most of these are, because we use Divi a lot in our website builds, and Divi uses Google Fonts. Again, you can upload your own font if you choose to. In Divi, it's a little bit more complicated, actually quite a bit more complicated. I don't tend to do it, but you can do that if you wanted that on your brand board. So a really quick overview for brand board. And then once it's done, it automatically saves every few seconds. You can download your creation as a PNG, as a JPEG. You can download it as a PDF if you want. Typically for a brand board, I would just recommend a JPEG. You download it and it will save it to your computer, and you can share your file. So there's a quick overview of that. I do want to let you all know that we have been creating a lot of standardized brand boards. Our starter websites will now come with the option to pick a brand board that goes along with the demo site that you choose. Custom branding will be separate. You can still choose custom branding, but we will have all of these standardized brand boards available, and we'll have them on our Design by Nursepreneurs website soon. I will provide the link as soon as I get that page finished. And we do plan to have our template and all of our standardized brand boards also for sale. So if you would like branding, but you're not trying to get a project with us at this point, but you need to pick branding and you love one of them, you will be able to buy those brand boards. So there'll be more information coming on that soon. Thanks, everybody. I hope that you understood all this. I'm sorry if I talked too fast or stumbled a bit. I was trying to keep it all in my mind. These videos will also be available soon on our Nursepreneur Network website, in our platform, membership platform, as well as all of our previous videos. We'll be transferring all of those over there, and soon we'll have mini courses for you over there, including all of these things. Thanks. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.